Welcome back to Lawn Dude Unearth, where we like to dive into whatever topic comes to mind each and every week. Every week we have an installment on mental health because it's important, man. You got to check on your people. You got to check on your people and have your people check on you. It is important, man. It's important to me that we continue to have discussions on mental health because it's just not talked about enough. Now we're going to cue the intro. What's going on? Welcome back to Lawn Dude Unearth. Whether you're coming to us at night, morning, midday, evening, once again, as I say each and every time we do this podcast, whatever time of day or night that you listen to this podcast, I appreciate it, man. I definitely appreciate it. I'm sure by now you've already heard the sponsors. I also want to shout out another sponsor. Another sponsor is me. Lawn Dude Lawn Maintenance LLC is sponsoring Lawn Dude Unearth. Now, as you know, discussion always comes from what comes top of the mind for me. And if I'm gonna be completely honest with you, am I allowed to be completely honest with you right quick, man? Now, most people record podcasts in advance, and even I was kind of doing this last year. You know what I mean? I would record multiple podcasts in a day and just release them on different dates. That's why I used to release about 3 or 4 every doggone week. Well, that has changed, as you know, since about, I would say, the fall of last year, maybe. I started going to once a week, the mental health podcast. And that was just because of scheduling, and to be honest with you, it's easier for me to kind of almost do like a weekly review. And when you feel like you've talked about a lot of things, to give out some free game, you tend to not really know exactly what all you would like to get into. I mean, it's kind of like YouTube. I've been on YouTube forever. I was just looking around some of my equipment and realizing that I haven't done review videos on everything. I haven't gone through detail on a lot of these things, man. So for today, man, I'm going to talk a little bit about, I guess, how this week has kind of been, man. It's been kind of an up and down week for me, but I'm not going to sit here and complain about it, you know what I mean? One thing I said about me turning 36 is I'm always going to try my hardest to stay positive in every situation. So this week, I've been dealing with a lot of, going back into my schedule of, back out there, knocking out lawns and properties and whatnot. It was kind of like the first, prep service for the year for all these clients. Not even my full list, because I have I have my regular weeklies, I also have a lot of people that are, bi-weekly. And this time of year, since stuff really hasn't grown like that, even a lot of weeklies that I cut this week will be bi-weekly. You know what I mean? Until probably April. Which, it's funny because 31st, real time, March 31st, 2025 is actually this Monday. April starts next week. But what I mean is the first full week of April. So basically, man, I was getting back in the swing of the schedule, which is always fun. I got to be out early to a lot of these commercials that I do on a weekly basis. I have to be out there like by 7 a.m. to beat, the traffic they get from people. Like the shop center, my HOAs I usually try to get into later on in the day when most people are at work and school. Condominium, try to get to that early as possible. Diner, we try to get to that one early as possible. So you get the point. What's different about that is over the winter, I'm able to have more of a flex schedule. So just kind of adjusting to that. Like, I'm able to take the kids to school in the morning and pick up in the afternoon. And when it gets to the season, when the season starts, I kind of have to do one or the other. Usually for me, it's, I rather pick up in the afternoon. And then they have practices, I take them to practice. And I know everybody does it differently when it comes to their kids, but those are things that I look forward to. Like, most don't understand that. I've had some dudes who want to act like they're the big burly tough guys and whatnot. Oh man, all I do is work and provide for my family. Oh man, my wife takes, our kids to practices and runs them to the stores and everything like that. Cool. Glad that worked for you, bro. I'm glad it does. Well, when it comes to me, I actually enjoy, whenever I can take, my kids to school, number one, allow my wife to, get a break, especially in the winter, like in the winter time, my wife can get a break from having to, get up early and run them to school. And for number two, I actually, I like doing it. I like any time I get with my kids. Just like I like any time I can get my wife. Winter time, I spend a lot of time with my wife as well. You know what I mean? Like, she has running around to do, I'm there with her usually throughout the winter. That's one thing I like about this industry. That's another reason why I'm trying to make sure I have my ducks in a row and I fix my cash flow so that wintertime, I'm not sitting around like, oh man, I hope we get a little bit of snow. I want snow to be extra. But yeah, getting back in the swing of everything, man. It rains Monday, of course. So, most who know, rain Monday, that means you gotta do the most to kind of like do Monday's route and all your other routes for the week. So I had some Monday stops on Tuesday. Made it a long day. I had some Monday stops on Wednesday. I think I still have 2 lingering ones on Thursday. And today, real time, it's Friday. I had spring aerations. The other half that I didn't do last week. I split the route. And I did some applications. So, oh boy, man. I was having a smooth day. I mean, I was traveling all over the globe, man. I was having a real smooth day until my last property. I had a steep hill that I was using to stand on the aerator on, which I know how to use that machine. Usually if you start to get stuck, whatever, you just dig those tines down. Get them, and get right on out. I've never gotten that machine stuck until today. To make a long story short, I went to back up a little bit, and there was one little on the corner of, like on the edge of the back perimeter, down the steep hill of this client's backyard. It was real soft, a little past the perimeter, and that one tire went down and sunk it. I'm like, man, I wasn't even trying to like do the most to get that thing out. I went to go get my right ZK, had to go back to, the shop and grab that, go on back out there with a chain as well. And we kept trying to yank it out. Me and the client and I were out there doing this. Grateful for great clients. He was actually out there trying to help me out with that. And I kept yanking at it. It wouldn't go, wouldn't budge. Kept moving it a little bit. And after about 2 hours, I would say, of dealing with that, maybe 3 hours, I don't know. It finally got that one wheel back up onto some dry surface and got the aerator out of there and had to finish the job. So that's that. Cool. So while I get into the next part, did you check on your people, man? Did you check on your people? And did your peoples check on you? It's important. And I'm going to keep preaching that forever, man. So, next up, I'm getting back adjusted to our kids' sports schedules on top of their school schedules. It kind of leaves you running around like a chicken with his head cut off, but I call organized chaos because we just organize the chaos the best you can. You know what I mean? You try to make sure everybody can show up to everything. And like I just said about taking my kids to school, I'm the same way with practices. I love to be at the practices. If you haven't heard that already in one of our previous podcasts, I love going to all their practices. Even though, with my son's practice, most of the time, I always angle the truck where I can see the whole practice. For those who don't know, if you heard this before, I do apologize, but I always angle the truck where I can see the practice. And, if I got some paperwork or whatever to get done, admin work, I have my iPad with me. I go ahead and knock it out. During his practice. Daughter's practice isn't really set up like that. So I actually go down there and watch, the practice. So one cool thing about watching both their practices is if they're struggling in a certain day during the practice, we can talk about it afterwards and, talk about ways how they can improve in that area or how I can improve and assist them with whatever. So, another thing that happened on top of that as well is I don't really make this all that public, man, but I've been having some serious prayer, and my wife and I have been thinking about upgrading the box truck, not because we have to update it, but as much as I hate to say this, it's more so we need to update it. On the dash, it has 300,000 miles, but to be honest with you, I think it's a little, it's under 250, because that's what it was when we got it, and I want to say the dealer, because I think that dash was some of the lights weren't lighting up or something. So what he did was, because he had a parts truck at his location, he took the dash out of the parts truck and swapped it out with mine, and the dash that he swapped into mine had 300,000 miles on it. So either which way, truck has over 200,000 miles. That's at the time where you need to do certain maintenance. You can't be upset when things go wrong. But I just had this truck with my mechanic for 7 doggone months over a sensor. And the other day, I was having the same issue with the truck where the acceleration would just go and it'll lose power, and all of a sudden it'll kick right back in. Like, I was going 25 miles per hour, uphill with that truck the other day, and I had to video that and send it to my wife. So, what the debate is don't get me wrong, I am approved to get a new truck. I found a new truck and all that. New landscape body, open landscape body, which is what I'm looking towards, even though I have the box truck right now. I'm looking towards the open body because you can do more with it. On top of that, it's a gas. I feel like for mowing routes, maintenance routes, you're better off with gas than you are diesel. Whereas I have this truck, my Ram 2500, for pulling the mini skid and the dump trailer and plowing. So those things you definitely need a diesel for. But I'm more so looking at warranties and just security. My heating and air conditioning don't work in the box truck, so I'm really considering trading in and getting a newer vehicle. So I know some people are like, "Well, you should do that." What's slowing you down? Well, I'll go ahead and explain that to you if you let me. What's slowing me down is the fact that it is an increased expense. Like, I've already gotten quotes what it will cost for the brand new truck, which is at a good price. But it's simply the fact that my note increases. My note increases, insurance increases because the truck has more value. And what else? Really, I think that's the two main things when it comes to expenses. Note increases. Now, I'll go ahead and be real with you. The note increases, I would say, by maybe it increases by 800, 900, somewhere in that range. And insurance increases by about $150 a month. But that's like the only downside I really come up with for it. Other than that, you're looking at warranty. I got AC. I'll have AC and heat that works in it. I'll just have a reliable mow truck that, not even just a mow truck, I can use for aerations, I can use for spraying, I can use it for everything. Whereas like now, I really just use the box truck for mowing, and I use the Ram 2500 for everything else. Pulling the 20-foot trailer with maybe the sprayer and the aerator. But if I got that truck, I honestly would sell the 20-foot trailer, because I would have the best of both worlds with that open body. And then as a backup, I still have a 14-foot utility trailer that I've had parked for the last couple of years. That's old reliable. It's my first ever trailer. And then I also have, my dump trailer, which, when it comes to moving equipment around, that's not the one I'm really trying to use. But either which way, it's a debate for me on if I should go that route. You know what I mean? I've been praying on it, asking for signs, and oh boy, it's an interesting decision, especially with the season starting up. But we'll see what I end up doing with that. Honestly, I've already kind of decided that if I go ahead and move forward with the new truck, what I'll end up doing is I probably won't even post that truck for a couple months or so. Because I'm not about boosting the highlight reel right now. I'm about doing what's best for my family. So if I get this truck, is to improve my efficiency and to increase my sales and stops and everything else, because at least now I know I have the reliability to get everything done. And even if I stick with what I have now, I'm still gonna, increase everything. But as far as having the reliability that that truck is gonna last, who knows? And yes, I can go truck and trailer right now, but problem with that is a lot of the stops I have now, I have to have a trailerless setup to be able to park. Because with that 20-foot trailer hooked up to my truck, I think I measured at 46 feet. It's a lot of places I can't park that rig. But we'll see. That amongst other things, man. How's y'all season starting out? I just thank God that everything else is well, health is well, family's well. Everything's great. We're blessed and highly favored. So I'm going to check out here. Y'all take it easy. Y'all be blessed. Peace.
Thank you for listening to Lon Dude on Earth. We talk about all kinds of things here. The good stuff, the tough stuff, and everything in between. If you like the show, please give us a 5-star review. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Thanks for tuning in, and have a blessed day.